In ancient Greek mythology, the Griffins were said to be the hounds of Zeus. Half eagle, half lion, the beasts have guarded great treasures throughout time.
All right, looks like it's working. I see we got Billy the Goat. Thanks for being here, Billy.
What's up, Billy the Goat? How you doing? All right, well, we're gonna let this thing roll for a little bit as we wait for some more people to come in.
Yeah, no, we'll just be hanging out. Yeah, like you said, give him a few minutes, but it's just you, Billy. Like we were saying, this is just our first AMA and hangout. We're gonna try to start scheduling these and just doing them somewhat routinely. Even if early on we don't get that big of a response, we think it'll really help as our community grows. We get on this routine and people can come join and ask questions. And again, or we could just hang out, talk about whatever. But we'll hang out for a minute and see if anybody else joins the next couple minutes, and then we may just start chatting.
Yeah. So on the agenda, just lightly speaking here, we're going to talk a little bit about our investment strategy. On my end, I kind of want to get into the difference between art and a vehicle for sales, which I think a lot of collections kind of see these things as just especially generative art as just yet another thing they can sell, and it's easy to make so many of them, so it's just more product. And I hold a counter view to that. Like I come from a traditional art background. I've been painting for about 13 years now, and I obviously see them as art. Like each piece is unique. I know the time specifically that went into making them, about 4 months to make this collection. So I do see it as art. I don't see it as a form of sales, but I want to dive into that a little bit more, about like where the art community is going now that we all understand, or most of us understand, what an NFT is and how it can benefit us. That's kind of my end, what I want to talk about today. I know Austin's going to get into a little bit about our investment strategy and what's going to happen once we hit 1% sold. A really exciting thing. We got some more numbers in today. We did get another sale, which is really nice. We're expecting more in the coming week. Have an exciting AMA planned on Wednesday with CC is Dreaming, who's the first 5D pop star in the space, which I'm still learning what a 5D pop star is. Barely know what that means, but I'm happy to ask your questions about it, So, Billy, that's what we got going on. Just going to keep this thing rolling. I don't know.
Matt, just to jump in, make sure just in like as we maybe bring in more people or whatever. I was just thinking they may not know who's speaking, so my bio says president founder, but make sure you always say or you just say Matt. I'm Matt, creative director, and when you talk about the collection, you should let people know that the backgrounds are your like lifelong paintings. So the Griffin art did take 4 months, but there's a lot of time into those images.
Yeah, we'll do. What's up? We got another joiner here. We got Wasim. How's it going, Wasim?
Yeah, Wasim's my dog. He's been here since day one. Billy too. I feel like we have a really small core group of guys that are really following along with the project closely. And as Matt alluded to, we did make another sale, so we're at 12 sales. We knew it would be slow. We kind of went with a kind of unique and different mint strategy. We just figured the most fair way to do it was to have it open, so when people ever felt comfortable, they're able to buy one from us. And we felt our concept works at any size. So we're going to be we'll be operational and investing just for our first 100 followers. I hope it's not confusing that if we only have 100 people mint from us, the treasury is only split up amongst those 100 people. So we're going to be keep pushing marketing, and I think Wasim might have got rugged, but we'll keep pushing marketing, and like Matt said, we have a big collaboration with CC's Dreaming. That project's been around for a year now. They have a pretty big following, and we'll be doing a joint AMA with their community. But we want to do more stuff like that. Been reaching out to a lot more projects. We got the Solana collaboration yesterday, so they put us up and hosted a giveaway for us, and we saw I think 22 Discord people join yesterday, which is a really good number for us. We've hosted some giveaways on promotional pages, which kind of got us off the ground, but I think those real collaborations, even though the raw Twitter numbers may be lower, we actually get a real engagement from it and real real following, and I've seen more people jump in Discord and ask questions. And like I said, I think if we keep a slow and steady approach to growth, and we stay consistent, you'll see good results over time.
Yeah, so like that's a good point. So we basically I don't want to bore you, Billy, with some of our marketing strategy here, but we, like Austin was alluding to, we started out with doing promotions, giveaways, just to get our head above water, as we say, and we've done that. So we've pivoted to brand marketing, and the difference between metrics marketing and brand marketing, which is the phase we're in now, is really just telling people what we do. We're not focusing on just gaining pure numbers, because as you probably know, that's attached with a lot of bots. That's attached with people that may not actually be real, or people that aren't really interested, but just there for the follow. So we're not focusing on that at all. We're focusing on getting the word out, building partnerships. So we have exciting stuff coming down the line. We've been talking with some DeFi companies, protocols. We're trying to break into that space more, because that will be part of our treasury, which Austin can allude to. It's a small percentage, but we definitely want exposure to it. We've been making a ton of content, Billy, a ton of content. Let me tell you, we did an interview run last night. So we recorded a 15-minute interview with Austin, which is going to be cut down quite a bit. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I'm actually working on that right now. And we also did about a 10-minute video of me going into a bit more about what I'm talking about, or plan on talking about, in this space, which is where I see art going, considering that NFTs are a thing now and artists have more capability and freedom there. I've been talking to artists in the space, 3D animators, traditional artists that have some knowledge of NFTs. And we're building connections there, because I plan on doing an art space. Will be specifically just a space about art and the future of art, which I think is going to be really exciting, because that's a question that we don't have an answer to. Whenever that happens, we get some really cool conversation. Like, for instance, how do you value art now that it can have subjective and objective value? Like, for us, art's backed by subjective value. Like, we think it's cool. We think it looks cool aesthetically as well. But it also has objective value, because each piece of art is backed by that equity stake in the DAO's treasury. Like, each Griffin has 12 shares in that treasury. So there's obviously really cool stuff happening, especially on our end. I'm not going to hold back in saying that I think that we're kind of revolutionizing that, and it's going to help emerging artists put food on the table, I think, as a way to structure a business. We can bring people on that don't have a big name, that are new to the space, and we just think their stuff is cool, and we can help them get out there. So some exciting stuff there on the art end. I don't know, maybe we can go a little bit into some questions. If you're up for it, Billy, you're welcome to ask us anything. If not, that's cool.
No, it's all good. And like I was saying earlier, this is mainly, we want to get on a routine. This is first day, but maybe we do 2 to 3 of these a week. I love spaces because like, I just envision using it all the way down the road. I mean, I even see like earnings calls and stuff, which could be really sick. Like, at the end of the quarter, when we're giving out Soul airdrops, we host like a earnings call, and some of our our core members have the opportunity to come speak and ask questions, and then we give a speech on how our treasury's grown in the past quarter, what rewards we're giving out. But right now, it's just the earliest phase. We've set in structure a way to grow this as much as we can. I mean, Matt's alluded to it, but we want to, as we grow, and like, this is further down the road, but once we sell out Griffins and we have our communities keeps growing, we can bring in secondary classes of investors using new art collections. So we can hit it from both sides. We can partner with really unique and awesome artists and sell a new collection. And what's so different about that compared to some other projects is we're not diluting Griffins in that way. We're selling that art, and all of that mint revenue goes back into the treasury, so that Griffins will directly benefit from selling that new collection. It's almost like the Griffins are part creators of that collection, just for being invested with our treasury from the beginning. And so, I'm really excited to begin investment operations, but it's such an early phase. We're just looking to grow the community at this point. And I do think, we have to have certain baseline numbers, because we've been reaching out to lots and lots of projects, but it's just, if our raw numbers are somewhat low, they're not really that interested. but we are securing certain collaborations. We're going to keep continuing to push collaborations, and I think very soon, we could land a major one, and it could bring a lot of people to our Discord. It could, we could end up minting a lot more. I also have a lot of people I know personally that have been interested in buying, that may be buying, and that can help us get off that ground at 100 Griffin sold. But I'm excited to keep growing. And yeah,
Yep.
Billy, if you have any questions,
Interrupt you.
feel free to ask. Well, Kwas, welcome in, my man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I was in your website and I have a couple of questions if that's okay. One of them would be what's the limit of griffins that you guys going to issue. Second one is around the fund. It will work as a fund, the treasury, if I understood it correctly. So how will that work? And are you guys going to do as a ETF kind of in the traditional markets, or is it something more complicated than that? If you could expand a little bit on that as well. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, so we've issued 10,000 Griffins. Um, but and so that's the max amount of Griffins we'll sell. Um, each Griffin has 12 treasury shares attached to it. So when somebody buys a Griffin, that's equal to 12 treasury shares. When our Griffins are minted, those shares become what are called active shares. So our treasury is divided among active shares. So like I said, if we only have 100 people come in, it's split among 100 Griffins. If we have 1,000 Griffins bought, it's split among 1,000 Griffins. But all of the money that people pay for the Griffin goes into that treasury investment fund. Now, our investment fund, it's not going to be as diversified as something like as an ETF. We're not going to have hundreds and hundreds of companies in our treasury. It's more of, if you've heard of stuff like Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company, or some of these other investors that hold long term investments. That's going to be where our primary focus is. If you look at the investment strategy of our information page, or just one of those recent announcements, we put out a little graphic that kind of gives a very, very high level view of what we may expect to be looking at. But the majority holding, I mean, probably at least 70%, maybe even more than that, is going to be in different equities, so different companies. And we're just straight up ripping off value investing, Warren Buffett, Benjamin Graham, these guys that have proven track records of long-term success. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to be some hedge fund that's doing very short-term risky plays in and out of stuff. I mean, we're looking, our four main principles are investing within a circle of competence, investing in businesses with durable competitive advantages, investing in businesses with honest and competent management teams, and investing in businesses at appropriate price. So to break that down just a little bit more, the durable competitive advantages part, that's companies with like economic moats. So economic moats, that can be things like brand awareness, barriers to entry, network effect, cost advantages. The biggest moats I see, like good examples, maybe brand awareness, something like Starbucks. And I'm not saying we're just going to be investing in big names, by the way, but just to illustrate economic moats. Some of the barriers to entry part, maybe if you look at like Verizon, it's very difficult for other companies. I mean, there's Verizon and AT&T, but you can't have a lot of telephone or telecommunication companies popping up because there can only be so much infrastructure and people need to collaborate. So, Verizon and AT&T allow people to call each other, and there's some other smaller names. But so telecommunications has a major barrier to entry. Cost advantages, if you look at stuff like Walmart or even now Amazon. Amazon also benefits from network effects. So I'm not saying we're going to be buying the biggest names, especially in the United States, because a lot of the U.S. market is pretty bloated at this point. But if we can find those durable competitive advantages, especially in cheaper overseas markets, that's where we may be putting a lot of our fund. The other one thing I just wanted to touch on was businesses at an appropriate price. So using value investing's framework, the appropriate price to invest in a company can be determined by calculating its intrinsic value from discounting future free cash flow projections. So to make that simpler, a business is only worth all of the future cash it can return to its owners discounted at an appropriate rate. So, if Apple can return us, Apple's crazy. So they could probably return in the lifetime of Apple, maybe they can give us back $10 trillion. But $10 trillion over the course of Apple isn't necessarily mean that Apple's worth $10 trillion. You have to discount that because a dollar 10 years from now isn't worth what a dollar today is worth. So if you discount those future cash flows back to the present, that's how you calculate intrinsic value. So we'll be calculating intrinsic value for every company we're looking to buy, and we'll be using a margin of safety. So if we think a company is worth, X, we want to see that the price is at least 10% to 15, maybe even 20% below X for us to be interested in jumping into this business. And the markets today are it's never really been tougher to be a portfolio manager because especially like U.S. equities are very overpriced. But if you look at a lot of fixed income like bonds, there's not a lot of real yield. In the U.S., we've had last month was 7% inflation, and this month it's expected to be 7.3. That number is actually coming out today. But so if you look at like a treasury bond, people used to think bonds are safe investments. Well, if you buy a U.S. government bond, that's only yielding, I think, 1.9% currently. So that government bond, really, if you factor in inflation, its real rate of return is like at least -5%. So you can't just get a 2% yield on a government bond and think your fund's doing in this period of inflation. You need to be in certain assets that are going to generate at least some real return. But just to go a little bit more of a high level again, yeah, most of our fund is going to be not heavily diversified like an ETF, but a good diversification of companies we really believe in. And that's the primary portion of our fundings, which is the equities portion. We'll also keep some cash on hand. We know that now cash is very much negatively yielding, so we may try to limit cash. But it's always good to have cash on hand that if the markets really do start falling, you want some room to work, so you want to have some cash ready to buy. We'll have 5% stake SOL. Our platform's built on Solana, so that number may even go up depending how bullish we are on SOL, and it possibly could go down. But we love the idea of getting a return, a yield on our SOL. So we'll be using pools, validator pools to get some earnings or some yield there, and then we may hold a mix here of like a basket of cryptocurrencies and a basket of blockchain projects. And this is, we kind of are eyeballing this maybe at 10% of the fund. But again, these percentages are going to shrink. So those two together, maybe they make up 10%. And maybe maybe we're a little more cautious in the crypto space. We're like, let's just, we think people are going to be using Ethereum or Avalanche or Luna or any other one of these, big name, high market cap L1s. Even if we think some other L2s or some smaller cap L1 tokens are going to do well, we can hold those as well. But then on the other side of that coin is blockchain projects. So these are things like other DAOs, other DeFi protocols, other GameFi protocols, and there's a lot of exciting stuff in there that, again, it's all a lot more risky. So the percentages, we're really gonna have to look at what's our risk parity there, what's our overall risk looking like for our portfolio. There's all sorts of math that we'll be doing. And Noah's our treasurer. He's actually couldn't make it today. He's taking some exams, but his formal education is in finance, so he knows a lot more. But I'm not a slouch either. I've been self-studying investing and investment principles and in general finance for a long time. So in portfolio management, you need to be charting your expected rate of return against the standard deviation of your return, which is basically risk, right? So you're charting your expected return versus your risk. And there's different things when we allocate funds in different ways that basically a line or a mark for our portfolio on that graph is going to move around. And so we want to be there's this thing called the efficient barrier. I mean, I don't want to get too technical, and it's not that important to get too technical, but we just want to allocate funds that we get the highest rate of expected return at the lowest risk, right? And so that's what we're going to try to do. But I don't think we're going to be overly cautious, but I don't think we're going to be overly risky either. So we're hoping that our portfolio works. We believe we can really beat the alpha or beat the market. Everybody talks about alpha. That's what we're hoping to do. But what's really exciting about our project, I know I'm giving you a really long answer here, but what's really exciting about our project is we grow in two ways. So we grow with the investment side, and we grow from the community and art side as well. So like I just explained, we'll have the investment earnings, and all those earnings will be retained and then be used to pay rewards to our NFT holders. But as our community grows, like I said, each NFT that we sell grows this treasury. So as we become bigger and we bring more people into this investing community, and we become a large crypto community that's, we have a focus on investing, but we can have a focus on, we're open to anybody. So as we sell more NFTs, all that money benefits everybody that's in the pool that has our NFTs. And then once we sell out and we go to secondary marketplaces, the 5% royalty. So whenever somebody sells, that 5% royalty gets reflected right back into our treasury. So that should be a major tailwind to help our treasury grow as well. And then any other, extra projects we do, if we do stuff like launch a merch, like an online merchandise store, and people want to support the project, or our community wants to support us by buying a hoodie or a hat or whatever, the profits from any of those little treasury funded businesses or treasury projects, that all goes into the treasury as well. So and as I explained, if we feel there's demand sufficient there, and this is more of 4, 5, 6 months from now, we have a really cool idea to partner with future artists. If we have thousands of people in our Discord, and we feel like we can raise more money from our community, we can sell a new collection, but sell it at a level and at a equity stake in our treasury that directly benefits the Griffins. So if there's 10,000 people holding Griffins and the total treasury is $1 million, if we could sell a second collection, and the second collection has a little bit less equity than the Griffins have, and we can raise $2 million from that second collection, now the treasury is $3 million, and the Griffins are now more than half of that. So just by us selling a new collection, each one of our NFTs became like 50% more valuable because we were able to bring in new collections. So like I said, there's multiple ways that we're going to be trying to grow our treasury. But I kind of gave the rundown of some of the investment stuff there. But there'll probably be more into it as well. We'll have some exposure to fixed income, and it's not as simple as I just explained it. But if you have any more questions, definitely let us know.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Billy. That was a great one. Kind of a futurist view on what we see ourselves doing. By the way, we got another guy in here, so thanks for joining us, Ahmad. But kind of a futurist view that Austin, Noah, and I have spoken about. By the way, my name is Matt. I'm using the Griffin Twitter page to talk through this, but I'm the creative director and artist behind Griffins. Is that we see this as not just on a consumer level, but we actually see Griffin operating on a business level as well. I don't want to say corporate, but just imagine that if you're a new company or a startup and you're looking to raise some VC funding, and maybe Austin can speak on this end a little bit more than I can. But just imagine you're looking to raise some funding, and there's a couple chains you can do that through. You can go through a VC firm, you can go to GoFundMe and basically make your case and try to raise through there. Or imagine you wanted to launch an NFT collection that dropped a size, could be 1,000 to 10,000, and you want to raise money through that. Each one of your NFTs becomes a brand marketing tool. So basically, I am Joe Schmo, and I'm opening Joe's Coffee Shop. And I want to raise $1 million because I want to get a couple locations of these built. I go to Griffin DAO, and I say I gave my case, and we provide an artist. We provide the collection. It sells, which is backed by our treasury, which already has, at that point, several $1 million in it, maybe tens at that point, before we expand to this model. Joe gets that money to build his coffee shops, and the sale goes into our treasury. So you see, this is very scalable. It doesn't have to be on a consumer level; it can be on a business level as well. So maybe Austin, if you want to talk on that a little bit, if you'd like, that's kind of further down the line, but just an idea for us.
Yeah, you kind of gave away the big secret project. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that's a very exciting idea. Noah and I have had. There's one now. The treasury is $3 million, and the Griffins are now more than half of that. So just by us selling a new collection, each one of our NFTs became like 50% more valuable because we were able to bring in new collections. So like I said, there's multiple ways that we're going to be trying to grow our treasury. But I kind of gave the rundown of some of the investment stuff there. But there'll probably be more into it as well. We'll have some exposure to fixed income, and it's not as simple as I just explained it. But if you have any more questions, definitely let us know.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Billy. That was a great one. Kind of a futurist view on what we see ourselves doing. By the way, we got another guy in here, so thanks for joining us, Ahmad. But kind of a futurist view that Austin, Noah, and I have spoken about. By the way, my name is Matt. I'm using the Griffin Twitter page to talk through this, but I'm the creative director and artist behind Griffins. Is that we see this as not just on on the consumer level, but we actually see Griffin operating on a business level as well. I don't want to say corporate, but just imagine that if you're a new company or a startup and you're looking to raise some VC funding, and maybe Austin can speak on this end a little bit more than I can, but just imagine you're looking to raise some funding, and there's a couple chains you can do that through. You can go through a VC firm, you can go to GoFundMe and basically make your case and try to raise through there. Or imagine you wanted to launch an NFT collection that dropped a size, could be 1,000 to 10,000, and you want to raise money through that. Each one of your NFTs becomes a brand marketing tool. So basically, I am Joe Schmo, and I'm opening Joe's coffee shop, and I want to raise $1 million because I want to get a couple locations of these built. I go to Griffin DAO, and I say I gave my case, and we provide an artist, we provide the collection, it sells, which is backed by our treasury, which already has, at that point, several $1 million in it, maybe tens at that point, before we expand to this model. Joe gets that money to build his coffee shops, and the sale goes into our treasury. So you see, this is very scalable. It doesn't have to be on a consumer level; it can be on a business level as well. So maybe Austin, if you want to talk on that a little bit, if you'd like, that's kind of further down the line, but just an idea for us.
Yeah, you kind of gave away the big secret project. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that's something, a very exciting idea. Noah and I've had. It's There's one big hurdle to it, but you could imagine this is probably multiple collections in. This is a little ways down the road. But we had the idea that we could make a marketplace, like our own NFT marketplace, and partner with real world businesses to raise capital for those businesses by selling an NFT collection for them. Our community at that point, it would hopefully be large enough that we could give them sufficient promotion. And what they're offering though is they're offering real equity. So if like Matt said, take a coffee shop example, a mid-level coffee shop person, we'd have to completely vet their business. This couldn't be any rugs. Like I said, let me go back to the hurdle piece. We would need legal securitization of those NFTs and like legal contracting between the businesses that we were working with and the NFTs that we were giving out. So, and this is probably good, Billy, because I think you asked about how the fund actually works. For our project right now, the way we have to pitch it is when you buy a Griffin NFT, you're really only buying a badge to get into our community. So you become a Griffin DAO member. You're in our crypto community. And then we, as the founder, we manage the fund via a private investment company. We already established Griffin DAO Asset Management LLC. It's a Florida LLC. You can look it up. It's government regulated, but we can't technically sell equity in that company. We can only reward our holders and play and give our personal pledge that if in the case that we stop the fund, or I don't see us doing that, but if we did, then we would have to sell all of our assets into cash, convert into SOL, and then immediately like one big airdrop back to you guys as like a form of refund. So when we say we back our NFTs, that's what we're saying. And what we're also doing is we're issuing those quarterly rewards based on treasury growth. But again, so from a legal perspective, this gets very dicey because there's a huge rugging problem here. We're above board with the government and everything because we're a legal entity managing our own funds. But now we have to have this promissory relationship with our members, and so that's why we thought it was hugely important that we fully dox. We take videos of ourselves. We put content out there both to grow the project, but also because we want people to feel as secure as possible when this grows into a lot larger sum of money. We've seen a lot of big rugs out there. But what we are going to do as soon as we have a decent amount of capital that we feel we can spend on speaking to some lawyers and doing things like that, we would love to. We would welcome the regulation if it meant we could legally securitize these NFTs. If we could make these NFTs the same things as stock in our investment company from a legal perspective, that I can't say that's exactly how we're pitching it, but that's a little bit about what we're saying they are. But again, we have to sell it in, no, it's a badge to our community and we reward our community. We manage a personal investment account for our community, that sort of thing. So we have to play this weird game. But if we could ever really get the legal securitization piece for it, that's when, especially if we had a couple $1 million in our treasury, this is a quote unquote treasury special project. And I really hope you don't bring it to other people, because if it could be done, I think you could make obscene amounts of money. But what it would do is you would partner with like we said, real world businesses. We'd be like, okay, Joe's Coffee Shop, we have a really interesting way for you to raise some money, and we think you can tap this market pretty easily. We need you to sell 10% of yourself, but we can work with an in-house artist to make you a cool, unique NFT collection that kind of has something to do with your brand. We can put that on our own NFT platform, kind of like Magic Eden does with their Launchpad and their tradable NFTs. We would be like a boutique or like a small marketplace that both launched these new collections and then had them trade on our platform exclusively. So we wouldn't really be open. We don't want to dilute. I mean, I guess we could dilute to other interesting NFT projects, but we would only be interested in securitized NFTs, so that each company that sold NFTs on our platform would need to have like a company profile on our platform. They would need to be publishing their financial reports so that investors could see how their business is doing. Just like the New York Stock Exchange does it. We would be looking to kind of make a new. It would be a mix of like a New York Stock Exchange, and then we would also be like an investment bank, because we would work with these companies to underwrite their NFTs and get, they're doing basically an IPO on our exchange. So there's a lot of monetization there for our community, because we could take fees from the front end, like investment banking fees are crazy. So we could take maybe a 10% to 15% fee of whatever we raise for them, and you see Launchpad already doing this, but the difference would be our NFTs are tied to real businesses, and each business would need a business pro on our exchange. This would take some software development, but if we had the money to pay for it, that's whenever we allude to future treasury projects. I mean, that's just one idea we've had, but that's one I'm really excited about. That if we could ever really get it, it would take some legal discussions, and but I actually don't think, doing some more research, I don't think it's impossible, and so that's exciting.
Yeah, that's a good. That was a good rundown of the future. We don't like to stray too far, Fuddy, but it's good to think about these things before they happen, and set goals towards them. So yeah, go ahead, Billy. If you have any questions, go ahead.
Sorry, I feel like I'm taking over asking questions.
No, you're all good, man.
So just a question to Austin. Do you see yourself like the project, the company? You guys are a company, right? Do you see you funding like other projects within the NFT space, and adding them to the fund, to the treasury on a percentage? And also, in terms of social media, do you have like a project or a plan to expand on the social media? Because as you know, like nowadays, that's a major tool to bring new investment to companies.
Yeah, absolutely. To answer your first question, 100%. We have to balance our risk parity for our portfolio. So, we're not looking to just completely wade in and buying. We're not going to be buying a ton of NFTs and different community, but we will buy some. So we will definitely have a percentage allocated to really innovative and unique NFT projects that we can fully believe in their management, and we fully believe in their vision. So, and as we grow, as our treasury gets larger, I think that percentage will be a more significant percentage, not maybe a larger percentage, but a more significant amount of money that we can be using to fund other projects. To answer your question about the social media, yeah, no, we like I said, we launched I think 8 days ago now, and we feel like we've done a decent job of getting our head above water. But we're going to be releasing. I did an interview yesterday, and Matt's been editing a little bit. We're going to be putting that up on Discord, Twitter, and we have a YouTube channel now with just a couple of videos, but that'll be going out there. And then I think very shortly we're going to be making a TikTok as well. So we'll be cutting up some of our YouTube videos, putting it on TikTok. Maybe even making different, just because I've been talking about this. We put our faces, our names behind this whole project. I think what we're going to try to do, along with the collaborating with other projects, because that's kind of our target market too. But we need to kind of be content creators a little bit, in really any sense of we can do anything. Matt has a lot of experience and awesome work on the art side. Noah's even more of a finance head than I am. And I feel like we can all, I have a computer science background. We can make different content that's, relevant to our project, but even, some other stuff. We've thought too about doing a podcast. So we may start even as early as next week, the three of us doing just a simple podcast, putting the full podcast on YouTube, cutting up certain things on and putting it on TikTok
So
with like.
I can talk a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit on this
yeah, it's
end as
perfect.
well.
Yeah, you take it over, Matt.
So Billy, so we do have a strategy in place. As you know, I'm the creative director here at Griffin, and I come from a traditional digital marketing background. Been working at a digital marketing firm for some time now, where I actually did work on NFT projects while there, which was really interesting and really helpful before starting our co-founding Griffin. But we basically taken the model of I hate to throw his name out because he gets some positive and negative feelings when you say his name, but Gary Vanderchuk, Chuck, or Gary V, as most people know him. What he talks about, a lot of it is just kind of nose to the grindstone hard work, which it's not all that. What it really is, and what his strategy that's very helpful is repurposing video content. So we are making a lot of video content that we believe can be put out on different platforms. For example, you put the long form video, the full 15-minute interview on YouTube. The next step, you cut that video up into sound bites. You can put that on Twitter and Instagram. The following step is you put that behind an interview. So now you have visuals on screen, animations, graphics with one of us talking, and that ends up on TikTok. So as you can see, with a couple pieces of content, you have a lot of material that you can put out there and get eyeballs on. And as I said before, our big hurdle is getting eyeballs on a project because, as you can see, I have a lot of faith in Austin. I have a lot of faith in Noah in the investment strategy end. It's really, and the business plan is great. I think our website looks great. I think our Twitter looks great. We have really good engagement on Discord. It's just about getting eyeballs on the project, which is what our kind of content strategy is. Like we're doing right now, we're making our own spaces. And we're going to start doing these on a scheduled basis. Like this is our first one. We're just seeing how it goes. And I'm really happy that you're asking these questions, Billy. But we're also joining some other larger spaces. We're applying right now to be on Moon Roving Space, which I think he has about 11,000 followers right now on Twitter. He has these nanos. They're called nano videos, which are really cool. It's a rolling basis application. We just applied to. So basically you do like a 1 to 3 minute pitch of your project, and he puts it up on his YouTube, on his TikTok, on his Instagram. And he's reached out to us, so I believe that we'll be accepted to that. I just need to finish editing that today. Then we're sending that out, and we'll hear back early next week. So those are some exciting stuff we're doing growth-wise. I really think the CC is Dreaming space next Wednesday is going to be really helpful. She has 7,800, I think 8,000 followers right now. And she's going to bring a lot of those people to our page. We're hosting that space right here at Griffin DAO. So that's going to be helpful for growth. And just doing more partnered spaces. It's basically like what we're doing right now. I don't know if you guys are aware. I hope you are. We're recording this. So we're going to put this up on our page. And it's basically a podcast. Yeah, I know Billy. Billy's like, I've been talking a lot. You guys are posting me. So this is basically a podcast, if you want to think about it that way. And it's cool because it's a podcast that's shared within the community. So it gives a lot of people that follow us freedom to ask questions. So we'll be putting that up on our page. So there's a lot of avenues that we've just got started on. Like Austin said, we started on the 28th, so that's about a week and a half ago. And we've made really good progress, and we have a solid plan for growth in place. Like I said, I come from a traditional marketing background, so I do have strategies that we're executing on, and the team is executing on, and you guys are going to be seeing a lot of that content come out over the end of this week into the beginning of next week. And it's just a cycle at that point. It's like make content, cut it up, repurpose it, get in spaces, make partnerships with other related projects that we believe in, and then just recycle that and do it over and over and over week by week. And you'll see the wheel will start to spin. The gears will loosen up. They'll be greased up, and we'll start gaining those genuine followers on our Discord. Right now, I think Austin said we're up about 20 on Discord. And these aren't bots. These are like real people. Our partnership with Sololand really helped out. So we're closing in on 200 on Discord. And that's really exciting. We just, like I said, we just run this wheel over and over again. We have faith in the idea. So it's just about executing on the strategy. And yeah, guys, you guys are here early, but it's going to pick up. And our next major milestone is 100 sold. Once we sell those 100, investments start coming in. it's gonna be really, really exciting time to be a part of Griffin on the first project. So Austin, yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to wrap that up just a little bit. We definitely, and I've stressed this, we went for a different launching or way to launch. So many projects, they buy a lot of promotions and they get these hyped up followings, and then they sell white lists, or they just give out white lists. And so you have lots of people join, and mostly bots get in Discord, but then some people, they see the numbers are high, so then they ask for white lists. But then the amount of people that actually pay for white lists, or pay the mint, is different. And so it's just like a dishonest and like hyped up exclusive way to try to launch things that we just didn't want to do. So we have started this from like very grassroots and very genuine. And like I said, this first very, very beginning phase, we've gotten our head above water. I remember sitting at the computer the first 3 hours after we launched, and we got 8 followers. And I was like happy. I was like, woo, we got 8 followers. And so we really have seen really solid, steady growth. Um, and like I said, what really gets me so excited about this project is that we can be operational at a very, very low amount of items sold. So if we sell 100 Griffins, we can be operating as if we've sold out the collection. We can be leveraging our community for investment ideas, informing our community of what investment research we've done, what we think we're going to be jumping into. That's another thing too, by the way. Once we start investing, that doesn't mean that day we have to find all the companies we need to be invested in. It'll be a slow, steady transition from cash into weighting higher into companies that we really believe in. Buffett has this baseball analogy, but he said that you know, investing is like you're a batter in baseball, but there's no called strikes. So you only have the umpire call a strike on you if you swing and miss. So you can just sit there and look at a lot of companies and wait and see, Ford at whatever valuation, and GE at whatever valuation, and then when you find a company you really like, you really believe in, then you swing, and hopefully you hit those. But yeah. So as Matt said, it's exciting, but it's going to be now it's phase two. It's more of a cycle. It's more of, we're constantly going to be seeking out collaborations with projects that we think are interesting, and we at least will be willing to pitch to our community, not necessarily partnerships, but collaborative, to try to help get our name out there. And then also on the other side, making our own content and trying to grow it as content creators. And like I think very soon we will hit that 1% sold milestone. And then when people come in our Discord, they'll actually see how this whole thing is operating. We'll actually have more content to share with our Discord that's specific to the investments we're getting into. And so I think when we hit that milestone, it'll also help. And as a buyer, I get it. I've been buying NFTs for a long time. With this kind of launching strategy, you're kind of like, okay, this is an interesting idea, but maybe I just sit by and wait and see how this goes. I don't want to jump in and this not work out. So I get it, and that's why I think what we'll see is continued slow and steady growth of the community. Our numbers will be steadily rising with very low bot percentages, so very, very genuine, real rising in our community. And then you'll start to see more and more sales trickle in. Like I said, we've had 12 already. I think I talked to How Rare on DMs yesterday, so they're going to list us again, they said, as an upcoming project sometime next week. So hopefully that'll bring more exposure, because we got good exposure when we already listed with them. But so we're going to just keep doing this, keep growing the community. And I think as you see our numbers trickle up, as you see more people start to buy, as our operations take place, once we hit the 20% sold mark, we'll be implementing all the Solo Land Discord bots and NFT verification, so that you'll have exclusive content if you're a Griffin holder. I think as we do it, that's going to be the best marketing tool we have as well, because people will be able to see exactly what's going on, and they'll be like, this idea is awesome, it's already working. So I don't think it's ever going to be harder to market the project than it is now. And so I think if we just continue we've seen good, slow and steady growth. We're not going to give up. And so I think the idea behind the project is very solid. And if we have founders, that I know all three of us, we will not give up until we do the vision that we see in our heads. And we think the long-term vision for this it's more than any real NFT project. Or I don't want to discriminate against the whole community, but I think we're a very unique and different project that has really, really large growth potentials. We're not messing around when we throw the graph up there with 10-20 million dollars in the treasury, and then expanding beyond that as we partner with new and unique artists. We become both this really awesome family of like art curation, where we have different artists under our brand, and we have really unique collections. And then all of that is really funneled into an investment fund that gives our art intrinsic value, just like just like Berkshire stock has value. So we're playing on both of those sides there, and like I said, I'm excited. I really think we're going to be successful, and I think we're going to bring real value to the people that join us. So it's just a process, and I really appreciate the earliest people coming in and hanging out, like both you, Billy, and Quas. Thanks for being here, and we have a good core of at least another 10 people who really are active with us, really post on Twitter about us, and I think they really see the project too. And we're always appreciative of that, and we're going to keep working to grow that core.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Yeah, that was. I hope you guys took that to heart. We really believe in that. But Quas, I saw you wanted to speak earlier. The floor is yours, my friend.
Hi, Matt and Justin. How are you guys?
Good.
How you doing, buddy? What time
I'm
is it
good.
there in Pakistan?
It's 9:48 p.m. night.
Oh my gosh, you gotta go to bed. I gotta go to work soon. It's 11:48 here in the East Coast.
Oh, cool.
Did you? Oh, go ahead. If you have questions, you can ask anything.
Yeah, I was just giving suggestion like there is Ray Santos. He's a good influencer, so you can talk to him about your project.
Okay, yeah. Could you DM me his name or his app? There's always so many different influencers. Or you could just send it in Discord, or you could DM it to Griffin Investment like on Twitter. We've looked into some promoters. We don't want a big bot following or anything, but we'll definitely, if they're genuinely good promoters and they'll talk about the project some, we'll definitely be looking to use them some.
Yeah, just talk to him, no problem. But yeah,
Okay,
I have
cool.
seen his spaces. He also do giveaways and like this. He tell about projects to people, about good projects. So you should try.
Yeah, one of the biggest things we're trying to do right now is get into there's this speaker called Moon Roving. He's like a he kind of talks about a lot of different NFT projects and hosts different Twitter spaces about it. So we're trying to get into spaces like that and other genuine promoters in the space. So that's definitely part of the marketing too.
Yeah, he is like genuine promoter. He promoted coins also like Koti, it is, and some other coins he promoted. He also promotes some games, NFT based games.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, like I said, send his either his profile or his name to maybe our Twitter DM so that we can make sure we have it. But that's great, and like I said, I appreciate it. If you believe in him, Quash, then we believe in him because you've been here from one of the very beginning followers, I think. So definitely send his name, and we appreciate it. And like one more
Hold on a
thing, like
second.
oh
Sorry,
yeah,
dude.
go ahead.
Quas, I muted you. I think there's some crackling going on in your speaker. Can you try to unmute yourself?
Yeah,
There we go.
okay, no problem.
Okay, just checking. I didn't want to make you think that I was preventing you from speaking.
Yeah, that's good.
No, it's okay.
Okay, go ahead,
All
Oscar.
right. Oh, no, I'm just saying. So this has been cool, and Billy, don't feel bad because this content lives on our page now. And we really appreciate you being here and asking questions. And I do think, yeah, I know you're like, I'm the only one who asked questions today, but no, I do think it's going to be helpful to host stuff like this at least a couple times a week. Maybe we do it often than that as well, but like on a set schedule. We can host like random Twitter spaces every now and then, and obviously we like jumping into other people's Twitter spaces and getting the chance to speak there. But I do want to put maybe on our Discord, maybe even a new channel about our spaces, and we put like a weekly schedule about when we're speaking. So, but anyway, so this, I don't know how much longer we'll go with this first one, but expect many more in the future, and we're definitely gonna get Noah in here soon. He's been a little less active, he's been a little more busy than we have been, but I think pretty soon he'll be able to speak a lot more, and he'll help me out with some of the investment strategy stuff as well.
Yeah. So same deal here. We'll definitely be doing more of these. But if you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask us. Otherwise, I think we'll probably wrap up at noon. So it'll be a solid hour to put on our Twitter page, and you guys can become famous with us, and we'll go from there. But yeah, if there's no more questions, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up, and we'll get back to work to make sure you guys have a company you're proud of. That's what we're doing now, and Me personally, I'm going to go and edit some video of Austin making a fool of himself on camera. And yeah, go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, just one last thing is so I've seen people call us a company, and I don't hate that term, and I do want. So somebody was speak trader, I think, or no, maybe it was Boo or somebody in Discord was mentioning how people are going to come after us because we're not a pure DAO. Because the A in DAO stands for autonomous, so each member is supposed to have full autonomy, and we're kind of acting in this paternal role almost. I don't. I don't know where I want to stand on it. Just know that we will be leveraging our community a ton. We will be doing all the things that DAOs do as far as members making proposals, proposals that get a lot of engagement will be put onto votes. Um, but it is going to have to be a little bit more of a conversation between the fund managers or the founders and the members, rather than just this. We've seen other investment DAOs that usually deal specifically in DeFi, and they do this like democratic vote for all their investments, and so they make proposals, and then it's only a democratic vote. And we think a lot of that's cool, and definitely we encourage our members to check that stuff out. We just think that it can lead to problems as far as risk. Mainly the biggest thing is risk. So also with fund direction, will kind of you'll be spread all over the place, and you can have a lot of things that are correlated in there. Is the biggest problem. One of the main things you do in portfolio management, you look to lower the correlation between the assets you're holding. If you can do that, then you can achieve the same amount of expected return with a lower standard deviation. Now, we're not going to overly diversify, because if you overly diversify, usually you're lowering your expected return. So we're going to be trying to walk this good balance of, overall a safe bet on companies we really believe in. The thing that's made Buffett beat the stock market his entire career at a really good rate of return. But I don't want it to necessarily seem like I'm this like dictator, and I'm not listening to anything the community's saying or anything like that. And so that we're definitely going to be leveraging the community proposals, votes for all sorts of DAO activities and DAO investments. On the roadmap we have stuff listed there as far as a charity giveaway and a large investment that's strictly voted on by the community. But we'll be doing more sentiment analysis voting with our community. What are you guys seeing in the market? What do you think about this company? And then maybe, hey, we have $10,000 here to allocate. Here's a few things we're thinking. What is the community voting on? And then really using that. So it's like I said, it's going to be a lot of a conversation, but we're definitely going to leverage all the best aspects of DAO as well, or of DAOs. So that was the last piece I had to say. And yeah, if anybody doesn't have any questions, I think this is a great place to cut off. And like I said, we'll make more announcements in Discord about it, but we should have more spaces hosted very soon.
Yep. So thank you guys for coming. We'll be posting this up so you guys can listen back if you wanted to, or share with your friends, and we'll keep you guys informed on when the next ones are happening. Okay. All right, guys.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Waquas, for joining. Thanks, Billy. We'll see you guys soon. Okay. Bye.
See you.